What is up? Welcome back. Episode 5 of the Shirts and Skins podcast. We're happy to be back.
Episode
5. We didn't quit after episode 4. A lot of people doubted us, but we're here. Again, we got a lot to talk about today. Again, if you're following along, leave us a comment. We've gotten several. We love the interaction with the fans. You add to our podcast. Mark, you've got one?
Oh, yeah, I got one. Got one from Carl. Carl P. said, I listened to your recent podcast. It was very entertaining and insightful. Really thought you brought very interesting stats and analysis. My 2 kids liked it too. So,
was that just directed at you or also?
No, it was to all of us. It didn't say me specifically. No, so I think everyone's good.
Do you guys know the friend? You guys know the friend that I've mentioned? Nick Kuntz.
Oh yeah.
We know Nick Kuntz.
He says that I'm dragging his name through the mud.
Well,
he can't defend himself on here. I'm just saying that's one comment I've gotten.
And did you?
I haven't made him sound good.
if he can prove that he's watched more than an hour of college football in the last decade,
he actually said that.
Then he can. Yeah. So there's nothing to defend.
Yeah.
We love Nick though.
Yeah, Nick's great guy.
Nick's awesome.
Hey, one other thing that we need to discuss. Brandon, you took us through a segment last week.
Very embarrassing.
We had UCF fans listening.
UCF trivia. We had a couple UCF fans reach out to us.
You know what's funny is, okay, full disclosure.
Yeah.
It was a co-segment hosted by me and ChatGPT.
See that?
Meaning ChatGPT did all the work and I read it. And here's the problem.
The reading was okay.
When I said Nick Foles, we all looked at each other like,
what? That doesn't sound right.
Nick Foles played for UCF.
Yeah, we got a couple comments.
Nick Foles, what?
One comment said, wherever you got that information from, light it on fire. Burn it.
Well, I'm going to have to reach out to OpenAI. Dude, why'd they get that wrong? Like, why is it that wrong?
I did the same thing. I looked up Boise State trivia the week before.
How is
ChatGPT? It does not work. It gets so much stuff wrong. I don't know.
That's weird.
I mean, Nick Foles did not play for UCF.
Not even close.
What did they? I think it was 3 of the 5 questions.
He may have gotten an offer from them.
Texas, the Texas game, the Nick Foles game, and then there was another one. It was like Scott Frost.
Yeah,
we corrected that one on the air, but we won't do that again. Our apologies. We'll do better.
I don't know that I'm going to put that. I mean.
How about UCF fans tuning in though?
Yeah.
Sat next to a bunch of I sat in the UCF. UCF section.
We have our seats and there was 4 UCF fans. They flew. Oh yeah. They represented well. Good for them. They flew to Salt Lake and drove from Salt Lake here.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Not cool.
And so they said all the flights to get from there to here were like, it was astronomical prices. So they flew into
That's
Salt
not
Lake.
a horrible drive.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Once the game started though, oh my gosh, it was the worst.
Were they bad?
Really?
Well, no, not like he was the chatty guy, you know, like predicting the plays before they'd happen. Both teams
should have had him on the pod.
It was, we could have brought him in, but he was pretty chatty, which is fine. But then when you lose, you're like, God, don't punch him in the face, but he's fine.
Well, sorry about that, UCF fans.
Yeah. They're not tuning in anymore.
No wonder you guys didn't get all those trivia questions right.
Yeah.
Because they were all wrong.
At some point we'd like a do-over.
I was looking for the wrong answer.
Yeah. Golly.
That was actually good. No BSU fans cared enough to comment, but UCF fans were like,
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But please comment.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
it is fun.
It's interesting that they found us, 2 UCF fans were probably searching for different, Bronco podcasts to figure out what's going on. And they found ours. And one guy even offered, because we were talking about NIL stuff. And he's like, hey, what do you want to know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
we would like an NIL deal. That's what we wanted.
Could we get an NIL deal? We get paid already to do stuff, not for the podcast.
Not for the podcast yet.
Well,
you're a sponsor out there.
Yeah. A lot to talk about today.
Yeah, let's get into it. We were all there. Brandon, you've got a lot. I know you said.
I have tons
to unpack.
Start us off.
I'll start us off. Okay. This is so classic to me. Okay. All right. Do I do my 2-minute dissection, or should I just start into my defense of how I feel?
Let's do the 2-minute first. 2-minute drill.
2-minute drill. Ready, go. Incredibly this is dumb. Undisciplined football. Low energy, I think, like low, let's see, from the BSU football team. I didn't get a lot of desire, I guess low desire from them. Poor execution. And here's my feeling about the BSU offense, because I think the defense is okay. It's not great. And there's some things I really dislike about it. Well, yeah, I think it's okay.
We'll let your 2 minutes finish.
Well, okay. Here's how I feel about it. When you're learning golf, and even right now, there's times where I play golf and I stand over the ball and I literally think to myself, I don't know what's going to happen to this shot. It could be okay. It could be fine. And that's what I think every time they snap the ball on offense. Like I literally have no idea if it's going to be a good, bad, or negative play or an average play. And I think the offensive line is okay. And I think Ashton Genty is the only reason we had a chance.
He's a star.
That was the only reason we had a chance.
Yeah.
And literally without him, we don't even we didn't deserve to win that game.
No.
Number one, there was no reason we were even that close. I think we only had, in my recollection, 3 offensive plays that were of any note, right? So there was the first touchdown to Genty that like he was backpedaling, he threw it on the sideline and he runs and scores it in. Mm-hmm. Great play. I think there was some 10-yard runs here and there.
You broke open a
we ran
really
it
long
fine.
run.
We ran it fine. Okay, but that's fine. But as far as explosive play, like I don't think we're going to be a great team until we have an explosive offense. And we haven't had that since 2014, maybe a decade.
Where are you, Khalil Shakir?
Okay, I'm just, he's
that's
players.
a good point.
Players.
It's a good point because
no, I'm not done.
Okay, sorry,
stop it,
dude.
I'm
2
not,
minutes.
No,
is
I'm not
2
done.
minutes over.
So we haven't had an explosive offense since 2014. We won't be back until we have that. Our offense is not reliable. It's not explosive, and we've had explosive players, but we haven't had an explosive offense in a really, really long time. And then it was just the reason I feel the way I do, and now my 2 minutes is done. This is the most classic event that happened to me yesterday. The very first UCF offensive play, they throw it deep and we get caught standing and they throw it over our head.
How?
And it's just
what happened last year.
How did that happen?
Why don't you do that?
They should have gone deep, but the fact that the receiver was behind the DB and he caught it, to me, it was like, this is the dumbest thing.
The collective crowd, you could just feel it. Everyone was just and every single person there was like last week all over. I mean, it was just like a collective
And I was
sigh.
saying it out loud. I was like, throw it over 20 yards every play and you'll win by 50.
But in the defense of the defense, they had never seen anything like that before.
Okay.
A long pass.
No, I just think it's so stupid. If you're at
least 7 days.
I don't get what these coaches are thinking. It's the very first play. Don't get beat deep, bro. Like we got to make up for what happened last week. And then even on the last drive, this is hilarious. On the last drive, I think it was the second play. They throw it deep on the sideline and it was all of a sudden
so open.
He is wide open and our guy number 4 was running behind him. Dude. And you're thinking, are we really that bad?
It would have been better if he would have scored. And
it probably would have been better. Yeah, probably would have been better. But still, it's like, how are you letting them behind you on the very last drive of the game in a 2-minute time and it makes no sense to me. And so that to me, the coaching staff isn't going to do it. They're just not there. They don't, there's things that you can fix. You can tell your secondary, don't get beat or you're not playing. And then they won't get beat, but they're going to get, all the throws in front of them and they could get beat there, but get beat deep. That's such an easy thing to solve.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You referenced the 2 times we got beat over the top.
And it happened more than that.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
we got beat bad all game. But I thought it was like just super soft coverage that got us beat more so. I mean, I haven't gone back and watched it. I was in the stadium, so it's hard, but either way, our secondary looks
it's atrocious.
bad.
It's bad.
And we talked last week about personnel or coaching. I still think it's a significant portion of both.
Sure. Yeah. And that's the truth.
And it's hard, I mean, if we're talking about personnel, 2 weeks in a row, I mean, really no pass rush whatsoever. We don't have a DeMarcus Lawrence, a Curtis Weaver, a Kamale Correa, any of those guys. We have two like interior defensive linemen playing playmakers that draw a double team or can get to the quarterback. We didn't get to that quarterback again 2 weeks in a row. We didn't really blitz. He wasn't, I don't know. I mean, again, I'd have to go back and watch the film, but it didn't seem like he was under duress a lot. He did a great job of scrambling, but we don't have I don't think Andy Avalos and Spencer Danielson all of a sudden became really bad defensive coaches. I lean more on that part of it, not the secondary. On that part of it, I lean more towards personnel big time. Yeah, we do not have the personnel to make a difference. And maybe that changes when we're playing, New Mexico and Utah State, but we don't even know how good UCF is. I'm convinced Washington's very good. I'm not convinced UCF's better than 7-5.
The funny thing is listening to the coaches, listening to the press conferences and listening to the reaction by the paid media. It's like, hey, these are the two best teams we'll play all year. Come on, guys, settle down. And
it's fine.
What else?
Fine. You guys are spoiled.
What else? What do you mean? What else? You got to come. You got to say, oh, you guys are spoiled. Yeah. Everybody has way too high expectations. But all the coaches these are the two hardest teams we play. That's not an excuse. Well, then why'd you say it? Why did you say that? This was an atrocious. Again, 2 weeks in a row. A really bad performance.
I agree. Why can't they just say that? We didn't play well at all. Why can't they say that?
Why do they say these are the two best teams? Hey guys, we shouldn't have won these games. These are the two best teams we're playing. We're only supposed to win the other crappy Mountain West teams that we play. I don't get it. I don't get the attitude.
It's like our expectations are off.
Well, in fact,
I want to talk more about that in a minute. I think we should finish with the game.
Yeah, I get that there's some fans who have crazy expectations, right? But I think limiting the teams less than 500 yards offense, I think that's one that. What
are the expectations? Win the game that we were winning the whole time?
Yeah.
What are the expectations? Every single fan, maybe there's 1 out of 1,000 that would say we should have won by 50 and isn't happy. But I guess I just think if you win the game, we're all like, oh, we did it. Yeah. We got out of that one.
Yeah. One thing I thought of, we kept saying we weren't the team, against Washington. We didn't show the level of talent that we have, right? Well, I think you could say that about UCF against us last night.
Oh, they didn't show?
Yeah. They should have beat us by a
3
lot
touchdowns.
Should have beat us by 3 touchdowns.
You look at the interceptions in the red zone.
They were both gimmies.
So lucky, right? Fell into Tubner's hands.
And they had the 4th and 1 that, they're going to get 50-50. That was a big
time stop.
That's a 50-50 though.
But those two, we got outgained by 160 yards.
They had how many turnovers? 3?
No, they had 2.
We had 2 interceptions. We had 1.
So we lost the turnover battle.
No, we won it. We won it.
I'm sorry.
We lost. Yeah.
And we lost the game.
Can we talk about Talon throwing?
Let's talk about Talon. Let's talk about the offense, because that's the part.
He can't throw in the pocket. He can throw out of the pocket, but he legitimately missed a lot of throws.
On the 2 throws, he was rolling out. He was on the run. He can't try to throw back across his body. And it's just
dude, there was, I think we all saw, how many, was he 9 of 17 or something?
9 of 19. He's less than 50% both games.
Okay. He missed, not even really put it in a lot of even a catchable range. He just missed. And there was, and every time they'd throw it from our section, you'd say, oh, people would be like, where's the pass interference? And you look at the replay and the ball's not even close. And you're like, oh, dude, he's not throwing well. And either he's not comfortable, he's not in a rhythm, but I don't know. He's me behind a golf ball saying anything could happen.
One, I'm not sure he's ever been a pure great passer. I think we can all agree with that. But 2, his confidence seems to be really low right now.
Low. And that's a coaching thing, right?
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Because his confidence wasn't this bad last year.
No.
He had some decent throwing games last year.
Yeah. But he's playing a little bit, and again, maybe that changes with who we start playing. But it's not like he's getting bombarded by, like he's not getting rushed. I think the offensive line's holding up pretty good,
and they get pushed
so
on.
It's not like he's just like
in the run game, in the run game,
like Hank was. Yeah, so it's like if he's having issues now, I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Can I list? Okay, this is interesting. Tell me if any of these are not a problem. The secondary,
massive.
The defensive line.
Yes.
Okay. The playmakers, the receivers, the quarterback. Is that almost every facet of the game? I mean, you guys, to your guys' credit, the punter was best player on our team.
He's awesome.
Tell you what, he was great. But it's like you could list every single team or section.
Dalmas was great.
Dalmas was good. Yeah. The special teams were great, but that's hit or miss.
Dude, and
you're not going to have that every week.
We talked last week about Avalos getting fired up. You saw on the replay board when Dalmas hits that 56
he was excited. That's his best.
He was pumped, but it's like,
you know what you didn't see?
It's a field goal.
You know what you didn't see from Avalos? when they were hitting when they were lining up to hit the final field goal, and he calls a timeout, and they snapped it and kicked it after like a
4
few seconds
late.
after.
Yeah.
You have two things, right? You see teams get after the ball and like do not let them kick that. And then Avalos walks over to the ref and he's smiling. I saw this on TV.
Okay.
And he's smiling, talking to the ref like, why are you letting him kick that? Why do you do that? Why can they do that? And I'm thinking, you need to be beside yourself, freaking out. You can't get a fake.
Miles on was all over the ref several times during that game.
You can't have a free kick like that.
Well,
that far after, that's illegal. You can't just do that.
Well, it's like in basketball, when they get fouled and they go to shoot it, usually a guy will goaltend it.
Block him.
He'll goaltend it.
And guess what?
Yeah. Or you grab their arm and don't let you foul you something. Yeah. Don't let him do it.
Dude, I don't understand why the coach staff's like, we're going to call timeout. Don't let him kick it. Don't let him dive in front of it. Stand right in front of him. Don't let him kick it. We're calling a timeout. And he walks over me. He like meanders over the ref, smiling, like trying to be a salesman. Hey, why'd you let him kick it? That's kind of stupid and this and that. And I'm just like, wrestle that referee down and start punching him in the face. You're that upset about it. Like, just get pissed. Like, show some emotion. The whole time he's just, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. I guess that's why I don't see any.
I was at the game. I didn't see it.
Well, I watched that. That was on TV.
I believe it.
That was on TV.
I believe it. That's kind of what I would expect from him.
Oddly enough, the last drive of UCF, I watched on TV. I had a couple 6-year-olds that were at the game. Watched on TV, and there was a number of false starts and running out of the guy that caught that pass for UCF ran out of bounds, came back in and caught it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really?
That was on replay.
And the ref, the umpire took his hat off.
Yeah, and the announcer's like, why did they let that stand? Why are they doing that?
He wasn't pushed out?
No.
He wasn't forced
He's
out.
like, why are they he was out of and that announcer that last quarter of the game was spot on everything. And he said, well, that's a penalty. Like, Anyway, what was interesting was the delay of game the defense got, which I thought was...
What was that for?
I have no
They announced
idea.
it, and I
have no idea.
Sometimes if you touch the ball or if you fake the cadence of the quarterback, they'll call that.
Yeah, a delay of game, though. I don't know how a defense gets a delay of game.
I don't know.
That was odd.
Huh. Well, it certainly wasn't the refs. I missed that one going. Anyway, that's a big play. That was a big play. A big play because it was already second and long. And that's when that play happened. But when we scored that touchdown, first of all, that was when Cobb scored that touchdown. That was about as loud as that stadium been for a little while. Yeah. That was awesome. My kids, man. But when that happened, and there was 149 left, and I turned to my wife. I was like, even though they hadn't scored, it was like I had no faith that we would be able to prevent a field goal attempt.
Dude, can we talk about Madsen? That run on 4th and 1.
That was good. That was his only good drive, though. Legitimately,
it was his only good drive.
The first couple, he was shell shocked. He was not.
Yeah, but his numbers. I looked at the stats today. His QBR was significantly. And I'm not saying he should be starting in front of Talon, but he got thrown in. Talon, whatever happened, was kind of running, and then kind of hobbled off, and he motioned to Matt. And so that's that moment. Sure. Throw your. And so the first couple drives, he didn't do a whole lot, but. That was a big time drive.
Big run.
It was a big run, but he managed that drive.
Cobbs for the touchdown.
Yeah, and he had a couple other. He had another good pass.
He had 2 or 3 good passes.
I feel more comfortable with him as the number 2 now than I did yesterday before the game, for sure.
Whoever listed his height on the roster,
there's no way he's 5'10".
Liar.
He's got to be 5'8" or something.
He's small.
5'6".
5'6". That's and his first pass I think got tipped. You know, it's
it actually hit the helmet.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it hit the helmet of the guy.
Yeah. So I feel good about Madsen.
I don't feel good about this team, and I don't know why it's bad to say that. Like on Twitter, people are saying, "Oh, this coach is the real deal. This AD is the real deal." I think the AD is fine. I think the AD is great. I think the coach is not, and I think this team is one of the worst teams we've had. And you can overcome not having individual playmakers if the team plays really well together. Mm-hmm. We don't have any of that.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
We don't have any of that.
Starting out. Yeah.
There's just in one area, I don't feel that there is a ton of confidence. Like you said, you went through every kind of facet of the team. I feel the same way about the coaching, right? It's like,
sure, you
may have a good, is Bush Hamden a really strong offensive coordinator? We don't know. At least
he did get fired from UW.
We know Spencer Danielson's done some things in the past, but this season is not looking great. There's just not a lot of confidence.
And it trended in the wrong direction at the end of last year with NFL players. You know what I mean? And then, I think that the last year's bowl game against North Texas that we almost lost, some of those NFL guys didn't play, and it was basically this year's defense was playing. And that was I haven't seen improvement since then.
Well, yeah,
we gave up 30.
If you're looking for a scapegoat, there's really not anybody out there on the coaching staff except maybe the secondary coach. But who are you going to bring in to replace him that would be better, right? If there's really nothing, in my opinion, there's no change you can make right now to say this will turn our season around like the Cutter move last year.
No, the change is North Dakota coming up. That's the thing. And that could this team, we all predicted 9-3 at the beginning of the year, right?
Did I?
You did. I just looked at it. Yeah, we all got 9-3. We had some different losses in there. None of us predicted UCF to be a loss. So is this team capable of being 9-3?
No. If nothing changes right now, we're going to lose 5 games.
When you say nothing changes, like personnel, like if no one, or just
if they continue on the same trajectory that they're at.
So who else do they lose to? Memphis?
Oh, pick. Yeah, they could lose a couple like Fresno, San Diego State.
San Diego State doesn't look good.
Wyoming. We joked about it, but they beat Texas Tech, and they always play us tough.
Yeah.
I didn't think that a week ago.
Force.
But come on, they could lose 3 games in the Mountain West.
We could lose
5
games. We could lose 5 games easily.
Yeah.
At this point.
So really, in my opinion, the conversation about this season is kind of really nothing big matters with this particular team, in my opinion.
The only thing at this point, and this is what they're saying, and it's true, you can still go and win the Mountain West. Even with the loss, it just depends. You can still go and win the Mountain West. Do I think this team is capable of that? I think they're capable of that because I don't think the Mountain West is very strong. Would I bet on it? Certainly not at this point.
Man, I don't know.
I'm not.
Brandon, you don't think they have a shot at the Mountain West title?
Oh, okay. Statistically, yes. Okay. But they will not win the Mountain West.
Okay.
It's harder than that. So we have had better teams that have lost.
So let's say that they, I think we're trying to have like a real adult conversation. Like, as opposed to people fire this, fire that, I think that we're trying to be measured, but let's just, what are the expectations for Boise State football going forward? So if the expectation, I listened to Kent Riddle last night on BJ's thing, and he was like, "Oh, we'll be fine. Right. They're going to go 9-3 or better. We're going to contend for the Mountain West." And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, is that now the goal, that we are no longer a player nationally, that we aren't ranked, that we're not even thinking about the playoff or, a New Year's Six game, and we're just happy getting to the Mountain West Championship game and contending? Is that what we're supposed to be okay with?
I think what the people in the traditional, like the radio, the people that have good connections with the team.
Riddle got fired.
Right. Well, they still have
Avalos.
Okay. Was it Avalos or was it Harsin?
No, it was Avalos. He worked for Avalos for a year and then he got fired.
Ouch. Okay. Well, here's the thing. every time we lose a game, you're crossing off goals that you can no longer accomplish.
Right.
Right. And so they just point to a goal that's still available.
Right. That's what they have to do.
They have to do that. But I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand why that's the main talking point that they bring up.
You're talking about the media or the coaches? I'm talking
about the people, the coaches and the media.
Coaches have to do it. The media, I wish they would be more honest about the situation of the program.
Look at who is that? Brian Kelly. When they
LSU coach?
When they lost to Florida State, what did he say?
He was just like,
we suck.
Yeah,
we're bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand why that's bad to say. Like if you're watching the Urban Meyer Netflix thing, right? When they have bad games, he's like, wow, we can't do anything. We're not good. We can't stop a nosebleed. We can't stop anybody. Yeah. And instead it's with our coach. I just think it's interesting. I don't think it's indicative of anything in particular, but he's like, we have a great team.
Yeah.
We have a really good team. And
or we're going to develop into a really good team.
Yeah.
Like we still can.
It's almost like they just are using these games as like
practice
warm up for the Mountain West. And it's like, but that goes back to what I was just asking is like, what is the because if the expectation of the program is we can no longer compete nationally, we're no longer thinking about top 25.
Why would that?
If that's the expectation, then Avalos is fine. Because I believe we will compete for the Mountain West. But is that what it should be? Well, I don't think so.
What's the expectation for Dickey?
I don't know. That's the question is what is his expectation? Is his expectation to be a ranked team, the top group of 5 team and be in those big time bowl games? Then I don't care how the rest of the season goes, unless we go 12, win the next 12 games in a row, 12-2. Unless that happens, Avalos has to go.
Yeah. Wouldn't Dickey say that? Wouldn't he say
he's not going to say that to us?
No, but wouldn't he say that's our expectation is to get ranked, to compete?
I would think so, but we're not there, and we haven't been there for 3 years now with Avalos, and we won't be there this year because of what just happened in the last 2 weeks. So, if we're okay with competing for Mountain West championships, then Avalos is fine, probably. But if not, then it's already done for me. It's already
I can answer that.
Done. Avalos is not taking us to that next level.
I can answer that.
Am I wrong?
I can answer that. Oh,
I would agree. I don't think he is.
Okay. I can answer that. If you are San Jose State, Utah State, there's a lot of other teams, Wyoming. If you are 6 of the Mountain West teams, that's your expectation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that ours?
No, it's not ours. It's never been ours. It never should be ours.
So with that said, I don't care how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
Again, unless short of 12-2. So 12 wins in a row. Short of that, I don't think you can keep Andy Avalos as a head coach.
I don't think they should. Hold on. What's his contract?
You can't fire him right now.
What's his contract? Look, is it a 3-year?
I think he has the rolling, but I don't
Chat
think
GPT,
I think he's got oh gosh.
Where are you?
I think he's definitely got a few more years on it. I mean, we'd owe him money.
Sure? I thought it was a 5-year deal or a 3-year deal.
I don't know. We'd have to look. It's not like he's on his last year. I guarantee he's not on his last year.
Do we have money to pay that?
So do we not? Here's the question.
We need to
look it up. Do we have money not to do it? Because here's the thing.
It's costly.
So we were talking about this before. I don't think we have more than 23,000 people at the next home game. Okay. And then after that,
it's a 10 o'clock kickoff.
10 o'clock kickoff, North Dakota. It's got 0-2 start. It's got all the makings of a real, like historically bad attendance day.
Families have a lot of competition.
Yeah, I actually can't be there. My daughter has soccer, and I'm always there, right? But I can't be there for those things. So what I'm getting at though is how expensive is it to be 7-5 again or 8-4 with the lack of donors giving you money, with the attendance going down, because it will go down. They had a hard time getting people in this stadium, in the stadium yesterday.
Literally, they did.
Yeah, literally.
The lines outside.
Do you guys have an issue with I don't have as big of an issue, except for getting in. It's a long line to get through the metal detectors.
I go early.
I was there almost an hour before.
There was a huge line going out to the parking lot, and we just kept walking. And the guy was like, "Hey guys, there's room around here." They just weren't doing a very good job of
Yeah, but you really don't get that experience at any other stadium I've ever been to that way.
I don't know if we want to spend a ton. That stadium was built for 15,000 less people than it is, and they're just not doing it.
And that's fine. I don't think that's the ultimate problem I have with the football team, but Okay.
yeah.
It's a
You think?
It's getting into the stadium.
It's a 5-year deal.
And how many years is he on his third year? So he has 2 more, or is it a rolling like Carson?
Oh, well, it's a 5-year deal worth $7.75 million. It increases every year. It will vest. Let's see. He's got a couple portions in here, right? But I don't know what the buyout. Okay, buyout. When Chris Peterson left for the University of Washington in 2013, the Huskies were only required to pay $750,000 in the buyout, which that was a bummer.
Who cares? He's not. The buyout
right,
doesn't matter. He's not leaving anywhere. No one's taking him.
We're dead. We're toast.
Why? What is it?
Harson's buyout was $250,000. Should Avalos break his contract prior to March 31st, 2023? Okay. It would require $3 million.
Who cares?
That already passed.
Okay, that's fine. That figure drops to $2 million April 1st. And
that's the buyout
on 2023,
for him to leave, not for us to fire him. That's a different thing.
What are you talking about? If we break the contract too, I think we pay the exact same thing.
I don't think so. It's not a one. It's not. It's either way, we would owe him money. We would owe him a little bit of money, but the question is, can we
pay
afford
$2 million
to keep him? Can we afford? Okay, probably about $2 million. Can we afford to keep him? With
how I think the buyout, I think it could be paid out over time, right? So we don't have to come up with $2 million then. And then maybe we can go to Melaleuca and
installments.
Well, you could probably pay it out over time.
It usually is paid over. Yeah. Harson's getting paid over the next several years. Not like it's over 1 year from Auburn, In
the game last night, that 4th and 1 play, were you guys thinking this is Avalos's job on the line right here? That's what I was
when Maddox,
so it's when Maddox converted. Like when we're driving down, and like if we don't score.
I didn't have any of those thoughts yesterday during the game. I was just wanting to win.
Yeah, because for me that was a make or break game for Avalos, and like going for does he have more runway? If he wins that game, yes, he buys himself more time.
Yes,
but if they lose, it's like the clock is ticking.
It has to be, right? What the rest short of 12 and like, what would it take for, us just fans, we can say whatever we want, but realistically, what would it take for him to get fired after this year? Do you guys think realistically?
What would it take?
Yeah. I think if he doesn't win the Mountain West championship, he should be fired. I'll put that out right now. I don't care how the rest of the season, if he wins it, then he buys himself more time.
Okay.
Even
if he makes it, not enough.
I don't think it's enough. Just because of the other stuff. It's not just a 1 year thing. It's the 7 as of right now. It's the 17-11. It's the 9-9 record without Cutter. We haven't been ranked and we're not going to be ranked this year. So it'd be 3 years in a row. It's going to be the decreasing attendance. It's going to be all those things wrapped up and and we haven't won, So I think if he doesn't win it, he has to go.
I think the hard part of your argument, the only part that can be defensible on the other side is, can you afford to not? Well, you can if you don't have a guarantee somebody that's better is coming in that's going to win more. Because if you pay $2 million and then pay the same contract to a new guy who wins the same, now you're in a tough spot and you're out. Dickey's out. His job's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
He overextended the budget.
I agree. It's tough, but this isn't. And again, unless this is the new standard,
but I don't
think it
right?
is.
You got to play to win.
And I think Dickey, So I think that, and I hate to say this, do you remember USC? They had the Pete Carroll days and it was just amazing. And then they tried to keep it in, like he left and then they tried Kiffin. They tried Sark.
What's the guy with the H? The last one.
Yeah. So he was someone else, right? But it finally had to get burned down. And then they brought in Lincoln Riley and now they're top 10 again. Right. Yeah. And it's like, we're trying to grasp and stick with this Peterson. And I've never thought this. I've always liked the internal hires, bleed blue, keep it in the family. But you just have to wonder at this point. Harsin was okay. He was a step down, but it was worse. It was getting worse. And now Avalos, we try and keep it. Maybe it needs to get, and I don't want this. I know maybe it needs to get bad enough that you just say, we need to start fresh.
Well, we went from Dirk to Dan and to Chris, and that kept getting better and better.
And then, now it's going down.
Yeah. And so
that's tough though, because how do you get better than Peterson? I mean, obviously he had some years that were not as great, but.
So my expectation for the Boise State football team is if 1 out of every 4 years, you can make an incredible run, I'm actually okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I don't think it'll be hey, every year you're going to be top 25. Okay.
They should be top 25 more than one every 4 years.
More than one every 4 years. That's fine. But certainly like what happens is you should win. Like, let's say this, you could win the Mountain West on a 10-3 or whatever. You win the Mountain West, you build on that. You have an incredible year the next year. That's what would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to get there without an explosive offense. Personal opinion on that. I don't think we'll ever get there without an explosive offense, and we can build on the defense. And I think that's what we've been missing the last 9 years, even under Harsin.
That's a long time. So that's a long time.
So you got to bring in a coach and guys that can be explosive to say we can score average 38,
the game's
42
changed.
points.
The college football has changed. It just seems like we haven't. We are second, of course, I haven't played in the Mountain West. We're second to last in points per game. We're averaging like 17 a game, right? We played a lot better teams than most everybody else, but
there you go. There's the excuse. Played the best teams.
Well, we have. I mean, that's the truth. That's not. I mean, you could use it as an excuse, but back to Andy. I saw this tweet just coming in today by Clay Panzeri. Give him some credit there.
Clay.
This is what he had to say. 38% of all home losses in the last 22 years have been under Coach Avalos. 38%. So 22 years, 38% of the losses. So 40% of the losses have come basically in 2 years in a game. That's not good.
You don't want to be known for that.
No. So it's just, it's not going in the right direction. I can't sit here and say, oh, if we just hire so-and-so, but you know.
Yeah. One tweet that I had the same thought was Jake Jensen. You may know him.
Yeah. Jake.
But he was like, is Avalos the employee that keeps telling you, hey, we're going to get this done. We're going to get this done. And they never do it. They don't find a solution. And I feel that a lot. Like, hey, we're going to turn this team into a really strong team. Like, we're really good. We're going to get better. Just wait for it. And it's like, well, we're waiting.
Well, you can't keep waiting. If you're Dickey, you just got to listen to that. Like, you're not ready to let him go now. And in your mind, you just say, look, the decision's already made, in my opinion.
For this year,
this year.
Yeah, it is. You can't fire him.
I'm
going
to start looking for somebody else.
You have to.
It doesn't really matter what Avalos says, right? It just only matters what he does. Can I bring up some stats?
Sure.
I think this is already
GPT stats.
No.
ESPN.
We're on ESPN stats. Okay, through 2 games. This is interesting. Defensive stats.
Oh, we've allowed the most yards.
The number 1 defense statistically right now is Air Force. The number 2 defense is Memphis, 2 teams that
we're playing.
We may play. We're gonna scroll down to the bottom. We are 4th to last in defensive stats.
Yeah.
The teams below us, Colorado State and Nevada. So that's why we're feeling good about that.
Well, we don't play Nevada, but Colorado State.
We've allowed just about the most yards of any team. 1,100 yards, right?
It's bad.
And
historically.
And as far as passing yards go, passing yards right here. Passing yards, we've allowed 762 passing yards.
It's a lot.
400 a game.
Yeah, we don't have that clamp down type defense.
Not
we don't
even
have
close.
those guys. The only reason the score was close for as long as it was because they kept shooting themselves in the foot.
In the red zone.
In the red zone, they would turn it over. It wasn't because our defense was stellar.
The interesting thing about the games is we really probably should have lost the Washington game by about 20. It kind of got out of hand. And this game, we should have lost basically both of them by 20. This one was way closer than it should have been. I think the Washington game was more out of hand than it probably should have been, but we weren't even close, really, man for man on either game.
Yeah.
And so that's just, it's just such a dismissal. It's just so far from what we're used to seeing.
I was interested to see the reaction on Twitter yesterday. There wasn't a lot from my feed that I could get. And it worries me that we're borderline on disinterest, or what do you call, what's the word I had
apathy.
In my mind? Apathy, but at the same time, irrelevance. It's like it's irrelevant anymore what happens. So people don't care enough to be fired up.
Yeah, well, we've been irrelevant from the national standpoint for some time now.
Well, locally,
the only time you ever hear anything nationally is what happened in Boise State. They're not who they used to be. And locally, you're right. Fan apathy is a real problem. And that, again, is one factor.
You know what I think is dumb about that is every time somebody comments, hey, we're not very good, people say, your expectations are so high. And they just tramp that down for years and years and years until the point where they stop commenting and we're like, okay, I guess our expectations are too. I mean, I really feel that way. Yeah. Like it's not okay to criticize the performance over the last few years because you're supposed to say, we're the best. I love this team. Let's go.
What's the goal with that kind of comment?
Just stay positive.
Hey, calm down. Like we're good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Expect the win.
I think at the same time, people say, look, you're not helping by being negative. And then we're saying, well, what are you helping by being super positive? You're not changing anything either. You're just saying you're great. You're great. You're great. And you're like, well, you're not.
It's not true.
Great.
It's not true. And yeah,
it's not true. I mean, can you be,
true. There's nothing anywhere close to true about that statement. They're not good.
And you can be truthful without being hurtful, you know?
I mean, you think that in their locker room, they're like, oh, we're a great team. You think, I mean, they need confidence. They need to, but I mean, they have to. I wonder if this team has any real idea of what, like none of the players on this team have been through a 12-1 season.
The only player that I heard yesterday that it appeared, and I obviously you only hear what the interviews that they do, but they interviewed
Schramm.
They interviewed Schramm, and he was really emotional and was like, "I'm sorry, this is bad," right? But on the radio driving home, they were interviewing. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Started with an N on defense. He had a pretty good
Notarini, Notarini or something like that.
Marco Notarini.
He had a great game. He had a great bright spot too.
He had a great game.
He looked good.
And they interviewed him, and they were like, "You had a great game." And he's like, "Yeah, I just want to do everything for the team here. I had a great game." And I'm thinking, if you didn't listen, if you didn't watch the game, you would have thought they won. The way they're talking to him, the way he's talking, I don't understand that.
I don't understand that at all.
It's like, why don't you say, look, we didn't make enough plays. We need to get better. We need to do better. We weren't good on defense. As a team, we weren't good on defense. We were a sieve. Matt. They could just go through us like crazy. We were not. Who was that guy? We
couldn't get off block.
Nick Saban. Remember Nick Saban? He's like, remember that statement he made on, anyway.
I don't know. And I'm not like a tactician of, football form or whatever, but it seemed like on defense, we could not get off blocks at all. Like they're coming through and I'm like, they're holding up. I don't think we were getting held. I just think we could not get, like, they're coming and they're just going right by us type of thing.
Well, when you get almost 600 yards, they're going to, they got outside. They threw over 20 yards, basically as much as they wanted. They should have thrown over 20 yards more.
Over 11 yards per attempt.
They averaged over 10 yards of play.
That's a bad number.
They averaged over 10 yards of play in the first half, but
it's just so unlike defenses of the past.
Yep.
You just don't like. I want Dimitri Washington to have a great game. I want him to blow up and be that next Kamal Laker.
Well, he's not it. He's never been that.
Not it.
Yeah. Which is fine.
But Schramm? I mean, we don't
have anybody.
We don't have him. We don't have a Van Der Esch. We don't have we don't have a JL Skinner.
We don't have any.
Schramm had a great year last year, so I'm not gonna sit here and bag on Schramm.
He's a good piece.
Yeah, he's a good piece.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, this is his 6th year, I think, 5th or 6th year. And he really didn't play much at all till last year. And then all of a sudden he was a star. And it's like, did he all of a sudden get better? Or did just everyone else leave? And so he just someone has to make the tackles. Like, and again, I'm not bagging on him, but I'm just like, it goes back to a talent drain.
Was JL Skinner the last of the guys that was recruited based on the BSU name? Because JL Skinner may have been the last great playmaker we've had, or at least like presence on defense that we've had.
Good question. I don't. Yeah.
I just think there's guys.
Scott Matlock was good.
He was a local guy.
He developed into a decent guy. Right.
Yeah, he's an NFL guy.
We got a local guy coming in a few years that
maybe I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, no, and you're right. You're right. And he may not.
What's the? Oh, sorry. I don't know. Do we want to?
I just think we don't have, and we've talked about this. We don't have the guys. I mean, you look at Where's the Orlando Scandricks? Where's the Darian Thompsons? Where's the Dante Dion's? Like those guys are not around.
Where's name me an NFL player on the team right now.
We wouldn't know
how much time do we have?
We wouldn't know him. I think
seriously, like
the only reason
think about the defense. Is there a single guy on defense right now?
You'd have to know their physical stature and how much they can lift and how fast they can run. Cause they're not going to pick them based on performance.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
No, they're not.
True. That's 100% true. Look at Jake Rowe on tight end. You think they would be like, oh, he's the best tight end in Mount West. We're going to take him. They're like, you're big, you're fast, we can use you.
That's part of it. But most of the time, Boise State, that's tight end's a little different.
Okay.
But most of the time, Boise State players that get drafted are players that are all Mountain West. We know they're good players. Just from what we know, I understand. But from what we know, from the defense, is there an NFL player on our defense right now? I'm just trying to think. I'm going down. Certainly not
yet.
Canijo?
Well, no.
Seriously. I'm joking. Like,
no, there's not.
There's not.
And
when was the last time you could have said that about Boise State's defense? That there's not. We always have NFL guys on our defense. We don't have
at least one. Yeah. We
certainly not on the line. What about the offense?
You're giving up over 500 yards a game.
Let's go to the offense.
Genty's the only star we have.
They might, but that's okay for running.
He's a star.
So Genty, outside that,
he's a star.
I'm looking at our roster. I'm sure people will develop whatever, but as we see it right now, there's only one guy.
And that's right on par with the other Mountain West teams. So that's where we're at.
Where we're at. You're right. And
what's the point of where we're going right now? Just to talk about
conversation?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
so
know.
what? Okay. So
we don't have guys.
Okay. So let's move on then.
Yeah.
I agree. That's fine. How does it improve? What's the next? How does it improve going forward?
Man, I think we've all said it. Like, we need a guy.
No. I mean, like this season. This season.
I'm done with this season.
You're done.
I'm emotionally disconnected this season because
are you going to continue hosting the pod if you're emotionally disconnected?
Yeah. Well, it's easier because I can talk about it. I just think this season, it's going to take a 9-game win. It's going to take good perform. Last year, my expectation after the UTEP game was we're the worst team in the world. And we salvaged it. And that's why it was interesting. I don't think you were salvaging. I don't think anything's being salvaged right now because there's no big change you can make.
There's no dirt cutter. There's no change.
No, nobody's going to swoop in and say, hey, I'm going to save it. You're going to have to put in
burn it down.
You have to put in an immense amount of work. And there's not that much time for that. That all work was supposed to be done in the off season. You just don't have time to go and make this team that much tougher or have that much determination.
What do you think, Matt? Do you think this season can be salvaged? So are you saying, are you kind of, I don't want to say,
I think we're going to get 5 losses.
Do you think no Mountain West championship game for you?
No, I don't see how we would do that. Honestly, because legitimately we couldn't beat other teams want it more than we do. Okay. I think you have to have that desire, and I don't think.
I thought the team played hard yesterday. I didn't see them quit. I just don't think they're that talented.
Look at the offense.
And I don't think the coaching is that great. But Matt, what do you think? Do you think this season be salvageable?
So when you hear the coaches say we're going to develop into a really good team, okay, but that development, if that's really what they're going for, probably starts with this North Dakota game, right? And could they build? Because it sounds like, as fans, we're supposed to expect we weren't supposed to win these first 2 games. Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Well, the clock starts with North Dakota. And then could we build and make it to the Mountain West Championship? Sure. Yeah. I'll root for them. Obviously I'm going to be interested and invested in the season. I'm not a Fairweather fan like Brandon. Just kidding.
Brandon just emotionally protects himself.
Will I be, it's tough because we kind of did this thing last year.
We did.
And we're not super pumped with the results, right? It's like, it was fine. And yeah, it was exciting to turn it around, but we know that's not going to happen this year. You can't fire a Tim Plow and save the season, right? You're not going to fire Bush Hamden. You're not going to,
no.
And that wouldn't fix the problems. I think even if you were to fire Spencer Danielson, that doesn't solve it.
He's been a good coach. Yeah. That's why I think it goes back to personnel.
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't think that we got the.
We're not hearing the names that are popping out like, oh, this guy is a beast on defense.
But that goes back to recruiting. It goes back to the coaching staff. ultimately because this is the team that they brought in.
And we even had like how many super seniors? We had 8, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
So
it's not getting any better.
Experience?
Like,
so you still have hope for the season?
I think it can be a successful season. I think we can get back to the Mountain West Championship. Do I think we'll win? It's too early to tell. I don't know about the other
coin toss
teams in the Mountain West, but I think just based on the fact of who Boise State is and what they've been able to do in the past, we've been at the top. We should have guys. I know we have guys that are good, right? That would be my hope at this point.
I think I'm with Matt in more so than I think that we can still salvage the season.
Because
I don't think, but for me personally, and I've always said like, we got to get back to winning the Mountain West. We got to get back to, and then that's the stepping stone. But so that needs to happen. But I just the way this started, just to see where we were to where we are now, again, short of running the table the rest of the way. I mean, you can't fire me if we win the Mountain West, but I'm honestly, if we don't win the Mountain West, I think that Andy has to go. And I think they can, because I don't think the Mountain West is super strong. But dude, think about this now. Starting next year, probably Oregon State and Washington State are now in the conference.
How about this?
We haven't won since 2019. Now bring in 2 teams that are basically better than us. Like, where is our standing?
How about this? How about me continue to piling on you?
That's fine, dude. They deserve it.
I know. How about this? There's a significant threat that our best guys, if things don't change,
don't say it,
they leave.
It could.
Genty could leave because he's like, I want to go to a contender. I'm good enough to go to a contender. And then a team that's aggressive, that needs to fill that spot, looks at our single guy or even Taylor Green and looks at our guys and say, we
Green's
need
not going anywhere.
Well, what if he starts playing better?
Dude.
What if he starts playing better?
Okay, that's a good point. And if he starts playing better, then we're going to win.
Then we win and he stays.
Potentially.
It's so big. I'm convinced that if we could score the way we thought our offense was going to be this year, and if they can get to that point, we can outscore teams.
Well, what if we score, but we still get killed by Washington's? Like our best teams, we still get killed against next year. And he's like, I'm done with this. And we lose them. I mean, just setting up scenarios.
It's possible. Sure. I think Genty's definitely a bigger flight risk, but
okay. I'm just saying, I'm going to the next best guy. And I'm saying there's a scenario that we lose our best people because we're not improving enough.
Sure. That's, again, we have to go back to what is the cost of being mediocre. And I think it's significant in financially and personnel wise.
When you start losing your best guys, it's almost a nail in the coffin.
We haven't had that happen yet.
Yeah.
It's interesting, which we've been fairly like even Fresno State, they won the Mountain West last year. They lost multiple defensive starters to Power 5 teams this offseason. So the fact that it hasn't happened to Boise is lucky / maybe it says something about the culture. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe we don't have good
but
enough
we
guys.
Haven't had, maybe there's that, but we haven't had the problem. So if we lose a starter here or there, that's a bummer. If that starts becoming an issue, then that's an issue. It hasn't to this point.
If we bring in a coach that just goes out and brings in guys, we're going to see a much more transactional roster moving forward. And that's the risk you run. Like if you bring in Deion Sanders.
Well, yeah. But I don't know anyone. Deion is so unique.
I'm not saying Deion.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I don't know who. And yeah, because if let's say Andy were to get fired after this year, they go 7-5, he gets fired. The number of transfers, that's just how it is these days because these kids can leave. There would be massive. I'm not worried about that. This team is what they are.
I'm saying,
bring in new guy. I don't want them to leave, but if they do,
you're fine with it.
Well, or we can just keep doing what we're doing.
What I'm saying.
Sorry,
you're missing the point.
Go ahead.
Let Andy's gone. Okay. And we bring in a guy and we win for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. And we bring in a bunch of people. And we bring in a bunch of players and then we'll start seeing a lot more transaction between our roster moving forward. If we just hire a guy that's bringing guys in to win versus, I believe we're recruiting to culture right now.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, we're going to fight that a lot more than we are right now.
That's true.
Which
has pros and cons. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying you could fall off faster and have 3 years bad than you can.
You could have higher highs but lower lows. And are we willing to take that risk, or are we okay with? I mean, that 10-4 last year was so like, you hear 10 wins and you're like, that's a pretty successful season. But when you start to like really dive down how bad the Mountain West was last year and how Cutter came, like without Cutter, I'm not sure we make a bowl game.
Ooh. Five wins, 6 wins.
I don't know. We were at 2-2 and had just got blown out by UTEP. So what I'm saying is, when you really peel it back, we were 10-4, but I'm not giving Avalos any credit for that
9.
other than the fact that he fired Plow.
Yeah.
That's the only credit I'm giving Avalos for, because his record, I can't go back to this enough. 9-9 without Cutter. That's 500.
Yeah.
If you're Andy Avalos, what do you do?
I've said that, man.
What do you do?
Dude,
do you call up Dirk Cutter and be like, bro?
No.
Some of your
None of
magic?
that. I'm making these guys into like cave. I'm making them work harder than any. I'm yelling and screaming.
Something has to change
behind the doors and in the press. I'm literally lighting a massive fire, and I'm saying, if you don't want to be here, get out. I only want the people that want it more than anything right now. But I don't think that's just not him. And it hasn't worked.
We don't know what he's like behind closed doors. Whatever it is, it has to change.
Yeah.
Something has to change. There has to be like tomorrow morning when they have their meetings, I think on Monday, or maybe it's today.
Everybody gets it.
It has to be a completely different thing.
Yeah. And
if it's just like, hey, we're doing okay, guys, we're going to get better.
And how many times can you come out and say, starts with coaching. This is our fault. This is my fault.
That's what they did last every time. Have you seen that Urban Meyer Gators Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. There was the 07 season or 09 season or 07 season. And they were coming off a really good season and they lost 3 games kind of early. And Urban's like, I went back into basically, I wanted to get guys out. I turned up as much heat as I could and I made them work hard again. And all these guys that came in that were recruited on like a number 1 recruiting class, they're like, oh, this is serious.
Yeah.
And he did that, and it didn't save the season, but it set him up for the best year they had in 08. And I thought that was an interesting move. And he worked them so hard, they basically didn't have any energy for the game. But man, he punished it, and he sent a message, and guys left that weren't ready to be there. And you think, okay, I mean, you got to have some attrition that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're a great team, according to Avalos. We're a great team. We're learning.
Brandon, cue the music. We got a segment.
I'm ready, dude. I'm more than ready.
Not too loud.
Where'd the segment info come from?
Mm-hmm.
This is
somewhere else.
Wrong side.
I got a feeling no North Dakota fans are going to be after us this week.
Will any North Dakota fans travel and make the trip?
There'll be a couple dozen, I'm sure.
Like couple parents.
Yeah, a couple parents. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this segment is called You're Smoking Crack. You tell me whether or not I'm smoking crack. I'm going to make a statement.
I like it. Okay.
So
do we have to do...
Each of you are going to take a turn.
Okay. Like both of us?
Yeah, we'll start with Brandon, and then you also hit on it, then we'll go back to you, Mark. Brandon, Boise State will make the Mountain West Championship.
You're smoking crack.
Why?
You're smoking crack. I mean, I laid it all out. I don't think enough is going to change to get us there. I don't know. I don't see anybody dragging us there. I don't see Avalos dragging us there.
What's the opposite of smoking crack? You're sitting in church. Yeah. I think you're sitting in church.
You're not smoking.
You're not smoking.
You're
crack.
gainfully employed.
You know what? As disappointed as I am, I think the Mountain West is just bad enough. I think we squeeze our way in there.
Okay. All right, Mark. Andy Avalos will be the head coach next season.
I think that's true because I don't think we have the cojones to fire him.
Brandon?
Yeah, I believe that. You're in that case, you're gainfully employed. You're not smoking crack.
Brandon, attendance will get above 30,000 at least one more game.
You're smoking crack. Oh, one more game? I thought you were talking about next game. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Like at a Fresno game or something.
Fresno not coming.
Who do we play?
The home schedule, that's part of the problem.
Is it Utah State?
Our best home, no, we're going there. Our best one's like San Jose.
Wyoming?
Wyoming is here.
We'll get over 30.
We'll get above 30, but not this weekend. My over-under is 23K for this
23.
weekend.
We'll get over
23 for North Dakota.
For North 26.
Dakota. It's not getting anywhere near 30.
Okay.
Ouch. Who's up now? Mark?
Yep.
We will allow more than 500 yards of total offense again this season.
Oh yeah,
True.
Fresno happen again.
Yeah, Fresno. Right.
Oh yeah,
Or Air Force, dude. They'll run it for 505.
Air Force got
One more time.
Legitimate
One more time.
defense. Apparently.
Our defense is bad. Brandon,
Oh yeah. No, I believe that.
you think we're gonna?
Then we'll allow it.
That will allow it. Yeah.
Again.
We haven't shown that we won't. I don't know how we're going to stop
should be,
it.
will we hold someone
Under.
We've got a
less than
streak
500?
going. Just keep it going.
Keep
Wrong
the streak.
streak.
Yeah. We are maybe not Colorado State or who else was below us.
Dude.
What was the team in ESPN below us or on ESPN?
Nevada?
Nevada and Colorado State may not.
Idaho spanked Nevada.
Idaho's 2-0.
3-6.
They're 2-0.
That's why I don't want to play Idaho.
Nevada.
That's what, I don't want to play that.
this year?
Hey,
Stop it.
You can't prove that we would win that game. I guarantee you. We can't prove
We
that.
should play him next year. I hope we play him next year. Anyways, go
All right,
ahead.
well, we play him this year. It could be the. It could be what
close.
kicked us
It
over.
might be closer.
We lost to Idaho.
Avalos is gone. Get him on the schedule.
Okay, play him.
I would take
Throw
an
him on.
Idaho loss.
Oh.
I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Oh,
Let's go
say
ahead.
it. Hot take.
I'm
Hot
not gonna
take.
say it. Go ahead.
Brandon Madsen will take over the starting spot from Taylor Green.
You're smoking crack. Yeah. No, he won't. I mean, look how long he kept Bachmeier in. Bachmeier was doing bad for an entire year. Came out first game. Oh, dude, we have the worst quarterback development the last few years.
We're killing the quarterbacks,
We're killing
man.
him. And how did Bachmeier didn't have a great game the second game.
I don't know.
But anyway, Bachmeier's coming off a tough year. First game of the new year, Oregon State. Maybe the biggest implosion of a quarterback we've ever seen. He stays in.
Sensi at Georgia.
I don't know, man. Anyway, because there was less pressure on Bachmeier in Oregon State.
Yeah.
And we kept him in, and then it just took us. Was UTEP the third game?
UTEP was the final straw, fourth game.
Was it the?
Yep.
Yeah, we kept him in for 4 games.
Yes. It was bad.
And we were horrible. Anyway, so no, he's going to be the starting quarterback.
No. I think it's closer than people want to think. I do. I think Taylor's going to get back on track when he gets back. I have heard he might not be playing next week.
For cramps?
No.
For cramps.
I heard.
That's insane.
No, I don't think. So I think
Cramps are more powerful than you
I'm
think,
sure they're
man.
looking at it today. No, I think
How many
that
cramps do you ever see in Boise, Idaho?
I think he pulled a calf.
Oh, okay.
And if he
Well, that's
pulled a
case.
muscle,
Sure.
then you're talking, if you get him back in there, that's why I didn't go back in, I think, is they're afraid of tearing a calf muscle. So a pull is
would
actually
know.
technically micro tearing, right? So I've heard that he may not play next week from someone that maybe knows.
You would know better than I would on that.
So I think,
Cramps seem odd.
I don't
to
think
leave the
Matt's,
game.
yeah, I don't think it was
tight
cramps.
game.
I think he had a tight calf that I think he may have pulled his calf or they benched him. But I think if he's healthy, he's the starter.
He benched himself, dude. Did you see him walking out field?
Yeah, because he was limping.
I know, but I think he was like, I'm not coming back in. Whatever.
So he only takes it based off of injury.
You're right. Correct.
That's it.
That's it. I like that. I like that segment.
That's some good
I like
crack.
that segment.
I don't know, man. I wonder what other crack questions there are out there.
I will come up. I like that segment. We should keep that segment.
Do you like? You've never smoked crack, right?
Do you like?
No.
It's just
No.
I was questioning
And,
that.
and for any kids out there listening, don't
Don't
drugs.
smoke crack.
Yeah. Just listen to Lawrence Taylor. What movie was that? I think it was like Waterboy.
We have Waterboy. Yeah.
Don't smoke crack.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, what about, you two, I was at the game. Overall fan experience, was it a big
Good question.
leap? We had the LED lights. We had the new video board.
New video. So
Where were you
the
sitting?
video board was so I'm in 107, which is
Okay.
west side.
I was at
Man, I
103.
felt bad for the
Oh,
east side.
dude.
Oh my gosh.
That
It was
looked
90
horrible.
degrees and people held it out pretty good over there. But the video board was awesome.
Yeah.
The sounds, the UCF fan next to me was like, do you guys only have sound coming out of that one end zone? And I was like, yeah, supposedly they're supposed to be getting that better next year, but that needs to change. But I thought that the lights, you just couldn't tell. You couldn't tell because it wasn't dark.
Yeah.
I think it might be pretty cool
They
at a
tried
night
to
game.
do it during the Boise State chant and it was off. It felt off to me.
That was off.
gonna take some
I
time.
thought that the crowd was I felt like it was really subdued until like the very end.
Well, there wasn't a ton
But there was just nothing to cheer about. I mean, it's
In the third quarter, nothing happened.
nothing happened.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense, it got loud at the very, very end, which is cool. I but the fans or the concessions, I know we talked about that a little bit. I feel bad for Jeremiah because I know he's trying. They've tried a lot of different, and they did have a different setup in the concession stand area this year.
Even on the east side, they did.
I was on
they advertised that.
Okay. So but the lines are atrocious. So they're bad.
I went through, okay, here's what was interesting. So the line to get into the stadium was long. And it's hot.
Mine was
for
5
us.
minutes.
Okay. For us, it was probably 11 minutes, 12 minutes to get to the metal detector. Right. And you're looking at it and my kids are like, this is going to take us an hour. Right.
I went around that line
and it's hot. Right. Okay. So you get through and then once you get through the metal detector, you're basically in.
Yeah.
And then I went up and I was on the west side on that as well. And I saw there was a lot of lines in the Bronco zone is what they call it. And so they have them labeled and that's a little different, but it's the same food, right? Okay, that's fine.
Is that where you go walk around?
It was
behind,
just on the concourse. Main. Yeah. The concourse behind, right as you walk up, there's that concourse before you step onto the stairs. And it's the Bronco zone. And you look at the line, you think, wow, it's really long. And you get in, it didn't take very long to get through. They got us in and out pretty quick.
Okay.
But the problem that they had was the good food. The vendors that came in that had a pop-up tent. I mean, the line was down the concourse for every tent, really far down. So those vendors have no way because they have a tent and they're whatever they're doing, they're cooking meals or they're just handing out. So every time we came down to go to the bathroom, there was maybe 20 or 30 people in the lines that we had to weave our way through to get to the bathroom or to get anywhere. And those are really, really long, those vendor lines from what I saw that people standing in line there, they're in there for half an hour at least.
I don't know. It's the infrastructure of the stadium. The stadium was built. They've added 15,000. It's just not built for that many people. So I think they're trying to do their best. But one thing that they can do better, like literally they could do right now, is they need massive and a lot of monitors everywhere. TV monitors. They have a couple in some areas. They need a lot more, and they could do that. It costs some money, but so that at least when you're standing there, at least you're watching the game.
Yeah.
But
you're not left out. And hey.
I would feel better about it if I'm sitting there watching the game, but they just don't have nearly enough of those. That's one thing they could do.
This is a bad admission of mine. I don't remember the last away game I visited.
To
college stadium, maybe BYU.
I went to a Utah State game.
We should go. We should take the pod to a
road trip.
I'm just saying, I don't know what's to compare to. I haven't been to Fresno or San Diego. Well, San Diego State has a new stadium.
Yeah.
The bigger teams in the Mountain West, I don't know that I've seen. I've gotten to Nevada.
I've been to one for
atrocious.
A little while.
Haven't been.
Well, I went to a professional soccer game in Salt Lake a couple weeks ago.
But you can't.
Significantly smaller stadium, right? But just so much, and it was sold out.
So the Jazz Stadium was
great.
And
it was so much easier to get food. It's everything.
And the food's better because the Bronco Zone, all they offer are pretzels, popcorn, nachos.
Yeah.
And they're $5 for water. It's $5 for whatever. It's $12 for beer. And then you go inside and they have vendors that had actual legit food, in my opinion. That's a tough one to get to.
I'm just thinking outside the box. What if they sold with the season ticket or with your ticket,
a meal plan?
A meal plan. Where you got something and it's just, you grab your food and it's
grab and go.
Yeah. Or they charge you, give them your credit card. You take all the food you want, you scan, and then it just charges you later. Cause the problem is the checkout is the purchasing, point of sale.
The point of sale. What if they had more Little Caesar type grab and goes?
I don't know what to do, but there's
like a mini donut line that my kids beg me for every single season.
I couldn't find the mini donuts.
I don't think they were there this time.
Yeah, they were there because somebody next to us got them.
You need to make about 300 dozen before the game starts.
That little mini conveyor belt.
It's so stupid. And so, those, I think the problem wasn't the BSU vendor. It was all of the vendors that pay for space in there that have, first of all, a pop-up tent and no real line structure like the BSU zone has that they can snake them around.
They need more structure.
Homestead was in there. Did you see? I don't know.
Yeah, Homestead, and it looked good. Yeah, and that was good food. But
we went and got barbecue. We got some brisket nachos, third quarter. There was no line.
From where? From the BSU?
So there's the main
concourse thing?
Yeah, but it's like behind on the west side where you like go around the little corner and there's all those.
And it was
on the backside.
It was an outside vendor, or was it a BSU vendor? Because they had like
I don't know specific,
how to.
I think it was Boise. It's under the. There's not a separate like name that they have.
Okay, then it was a BSU State. Yeah,
and they were good.
It's we're talking. Ultimately, that's so far down the list. I mean, it is that's what some people are like. Oh, it's another reason to not go when it takes you forever to get in, and it takes you forever to get your food, and that's another reason when you combine it with losing and whatever. It's like, I'm just going to watch it at home. It is one more reason, and they can improve.
Can I give you a value option here? You ready?
Yeah.
I spent $400 to get in the game. Did I? I spent $280 to get into the game.
So not 400
yesterday.
Okay.
For 4 tickets.
Okay.
I spent another $70 on food.
Okay.
So we're at 350. Let's just say.
Yep.
What if I said, hey, I'm going to watch the game at home and I'm going to order $100 worth of food, Uber Eats or DoorDash.
Okay.
And it's like, there's a significant value proposition there to say no traffic.
Yep.
No walking to and from the game. No, like
you can go to the bathroom whenever you want.
You can do the bathroom whenever you want.
Water whenever you want.
You can watch other games.
That's the 100%.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing that will continue to keep people in the stadium
is winning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been to I went to an Arizona State Stanford game when I was living in Arizona for grad school. Andrew Luck, Stanford was top 10.
Wow. So that was a while ago.
So yeah, it was like 12 years ago or something.
Dude, they got crushed.
Andrew Luck was playing in Stanford. It was a really good game. I was at Arizona State. They were middle of the Pac-12 program, and it was half full. So that's just how it is everywhere outside of the SEC and Nebraska. So I'm not going to complain about Boise State fans, and I'm not going to get on. Yes, we have bandwagon fans.
Which
everyone does.
We need those bad.
And everyone does. It's fine.
Well, we need
But yeah, and to keep that type of fan engaged, you need to win. Otherwise, the Broncos or Albertson Stadium will be half full next week. And if we keep losing, it'll continue to be 3/4 to half full.
Well, what's the season ticket sales? Is it in the 20s?
They didn't even announce it, which tells us that it was probably less than last year.
Yeah, because how many your story is not unique.
It wasn't 20,000.
How many kids did you take? 2?
I took 2 because I had 4 tickets. I could only get 2 to come with me. I'm not kidding.
But how many other parents are out there just like you that paid $300 to get in and are like, that was our one time. But if we were winning, they might tip the scale and they're like, let's go.
Dude, I go to BSU basketball games a bunch. I go to a lot because they win and it's fun. It's exciting. Bought season tickets up.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Nice. Do we have time for current college football news? I think it's interesting.
Let's make it quick.
Okay. I mean, are we on a time crunch?
No, we're good.
Did you see the Michigan State head coach?
I just saw a headline that he's like getting sexual abuse.
Well, okay. So the story is fascinating.
Oh, this is
there's some investigation like breaking
Tucker.
today.
Mel Tucker, exactly. Do you know their records the last couple years?
Not good. He did really well one year. He got a contract extension, $95 million, and he has not been good.
Much.
Yeah, hasn't made good sense.
I don't know how much detail because I read.
Are they pulling a Harsin? Are they like trying to push him out?
Yeah,
make up some stuff.
Well, it's not making up. It's the oddest thing because he put out so this all happened. I think this is really interesting. This all happened in March that the news came out or that the event came out. And the event was interesting because what happened was he had contracted with a victim of sexual assault to come speak to his players on 4 different occasions. And she had a name, I forget her name, but she came on 4 different occasions to speak to the Michigan State players. And one time they were talking over the phone and he acted inappropriately over the phone.
To her? To the speaker?
To himself.
What?
He did stuff to himself that she's saying was non-consensual, which is to me is super fascinating.
And she's the speaker on.
She's on the other side of the phone, and they started having a relationship. Oddly enough, so the allegation is he's talking to her on the phone, and
I got you.
He's acting something out, and that was the allegation. And then he puts out a statement just recently saying, "I did that, but it was consensual."
Oh,
okay.
But
hold on. This female is there to talk to the team about.
Correct. It's wild.
That's messed up, man.
It's super wild. But here's what I think is even more wild. It happened in March. It came out in March. The investigation came out in March.
GPT fact.
This is not ChatGPT. It's not. Look it up. Look it up. That's exactly what happened. And he came out and he said, "I did that." I did that. But you know what's fascinating is,
I did that.
Is the reason they're bringing it up now is because his poor football performance, and they want to let him go for cause.
Those things get swept under the rug if you're winning.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, dude, nobody would know about it by then. And I wonder if she would even bring it up if he was winning undefeated season.
Are we gonna get comments from Michigan State fans saying that was not?
Let me look it up. I'll show you.
Check your facts.
You pulling that out, man? That better be right.
If Brandon's statement got us some new listeners from Michigan State, whatever.
Tag Michigan State.
Okay, can I
have to listen an hour?
This is an article from Yahoo Sports. Okay. I'm not sure how explicit that this podcast is, right? But anyway, so the name of the lady was
specify if we're explicit or not.
So anyway, the name of the lady is Brenda Tracy, right? And so she filed a complaint with Michigan State regarding Mel Tucker's alleged actions.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Reported that Tucker had been suspended pending the outcome of that investigation. The reports came out before a scheduled 5 p.m. announcement by the school. Tucker, 51 years old, is 19-14 in his time as Michigan State head coach.
Slightly
11 of those 11 of those wins came in one season. Oh, so he is 8, and I don't know how many losses they had that season, but let's say, I don't know. He has a losing record, right? Well, okay. So after a 2-5 debut season, Michigan State went on to be 11-2, right? Oh gosh. Here's what she's accusing him of. Should I read that out for you? Okay. He made sexual comments about her, and
I don't know. Should you?
This is all you could look it up. And he did something to himself during a phone call between the two. Tucker acknowledged his conduct during the call to Michigan State investigators, and said in the letter that the two were having consensual phone sex. Okay.
Consensual, not
consensual. Excuse me.
It probably works.
He's married, and he pursued Tracy romantically after she started working with the team. She reportedly told investigators that she rebuffed Tucker's advances before he called her. Yeah.
Whoops.
I think what's interesting is doing that. He puts at risk not only his marriage, but I think it's like a $90 million remaining contract payout or whatever.
Consensual phone sex, definitely not worth $90 million.
Consensual, yeah.
Oh, horrible. So, but what you're bringing this up because
watch out,
her allegation.
Okay, we can all read this later, right? But you're bringing this up, right? Because we're talking about winning.
I just think that's interesting.
It's winning that it's coming up. Yeah,
it's interesting that they're looking for a for cause and how much money they can save by firing him for cause.
They did the same thing to Harsin, which
they tried.
Yeah,
but it was false.
Yeah, it was a bunch of crap. But dude,
that was messed up. Yeah, so I don't know. I think obviously anything with big money can get super dirty in a lot of different ways on both the tactics that they're using and what they bring up. But
yeah,
I mean, anytime big money's involved in losing, then it's going to get nasty.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
So something to follow along.
All righty.
Current college news, right?
So North Dakota, we're all predicting a win.
I hope so.
I don't know what do we win by more than 20? I mean,
I don't know this.
I don't even know. Like, I don't know if Talon plays. If we don't win, you just got to win, period. You have to win this game.
You have to win by a couple touchdowns. The second team have to be in.
Stop the bleeding. At one point, just win.
They're 2-0. They beat Drake 55-7.
Yeah.
So they're
going to get 500 yards on us.
They beat Northern Arizona 37-22. So they're over 35 points.
Yeah. So you know what? Normally we need to blow out an FCS team. This year, win this game.
Was it in Fresno?
Stop the bleeding.
Double overtime.
Yeah. After they beat Purdue, they barely beat Eastern Washington. So win the game. Win the game. Stop the bleeding.
Could you imagine if we played Eastern Washington? We'd lose.
We'd probably lose that game. But hey,
in the Inferno, isn't that what it's called?
It was in Fresno, but they do have the Inferno there. Yeah. All right.
If we lose this game, burn it down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we can't. No, stop. Stop. But yes,
I want to put it out there.
Stop.
Look, dude, the quicker the fall,
the stop.
less. Okay, stop it. Okay, get out of here. Just get out of here. Nobody's rooting for a loss.
Come on.